Thank you for joining me today. Today, I want to talk about something I don't know, I found really fascinating, really interesting, and it's ChatGPT's new advanced voice mode that comes with video. So it's pretty much, you're on ChatGPT, you can be talking to ChatGPT through voice, then you click a button and you can start filming, start recording what you're seeing, and start interacting with that. Start asking, ChatGPT what's happening in your video and getting answers from it. And so I wanted to test this out in like kind of an agriculture slash like gardening type of way. And so I have this newly planted Norway maple in my yard. I'm not an expert when it comes to pruning trees and that sort of thing. So I wanted to see how best I could improve it. And so I used the ChatGPT Advanced Voice Mode with video to ask it how I can prune it, and then I even reached out to an expert to see how ChatGPT compares with an expert. So let's take a look.
So I need help with something that pertains to gardening today.
Sure. What do you need help with?
So I have a newly planted Norway maple, but I'm concerned that some of the top portion is just too many branches. So let me start a video so you can see it.
Sure, I'd love to see your Norway maple and help you out. Just let me know when you're ready.
The first thing I want to note, and I was doing this, well, I did this two times. I did this with on the same tree two different times, one before the expert and one after the expert. And I think one thing you'll notice as you watch this one and then eventually watch the next one, you'll notice that in this one, I focused completely on the top. As someone who's not an expert in tree pruning, I was so focused on the top. I was worried that the top was too crowded. There was too much happening, and so this one, I didn't really know what to look for. I didn't really know fully what I should be showing ChatGPT so that it could fully help me give the answers that I wanted. But anyway, so this one I'm focusing on the top. So let's keep watching.
So here is my Norway maple. So I'm just trying to figure out how to prune it. So I got this branch here, this one here, this one here, this one here. Um, oops, there it is, that one there, and this one there. So how should I go about pruning it?
It looks like your Norway maple has several new branches sprouting from the main trunk. It's best to remove any branches crossing or rubbing against each other to avoid damage. Also, focus on keeping a strong central leader. If there's one dominant branch heading upward, keep that and remove competing branches. Just be careful not to over prune and remove more than a third of the branches.
So if I label this number 1, this number 2, this number 3, and this one number 4, which one should I remove?
If you're deciding among those 4 branches, I'd consider removing branch number 3 because it looks like it's growing inward toward the trunk, which could cause crowding as the tree grows. Removing branch number 3 would help open up the center and maintain a balanced structure. But if you prefer to keep it, you could also remove branch number 4 for the same reason.
So you're saying I should remove this one, number 3.
Yes, removing that branch should help improve the tree's structure and reduce crowding. Just make sure to use clean, sharp pruning shears and make a clean cut close to the trunk. That should encourage healthy growth for the rest of the tree.
So in that, excuse me. So at this point, I re-asked it again. I wanted to give it a different angle about these center branches that were all these branches coming from this like one point. I really wanted to make sure that I understood that I was concerned that there was two branches coming from this one point. And so I'm re-asking it again. Pretty much, should I remove any of them? And so let's see what it says.
And so you kind of see all these branches, they're coming from this one point here. So with this extra information, should I still remove 1, 2, 3, and 4? Should I still remove number 3 with them all coming from this central spot on this main branch?
Yes, with all those branches growing from one spot, removing branch number 3 is still a good idea. This will help reduce crowding and give the remaining branches more space to grow properly. It will also help maintain a balanced structure for the tree.
What about number 1? Is that one good to keep?
Yes, number 1 looks good to keep. It seems to be growing outward and will help maintain a nice, balanced shape for the tree. Just keep an eye on its growth to ensure it remains healthy and doesn't start crowding other branches.
Okay, thank you for that. Anything else you see that I need to prune? I have this branch here with some branches down here, and I have some branches down here. Do you see anything else that I need to prune?
It looks like the main areas to focus on are branches growing from that central spot. After removing branch number 3 and the broken branch, you should have a good structure. You might also remove any branches that are very low on the trunk or any that are growing downward, as these can be pruned to encourage upward and outward growth. But overall, your tree looks good.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So we can see here that it did actually mention that that lower branch needed to be cut, and I kind of had even forgotten after, filming this and doing this video that I completely forgotten that it didn't had mentioned that it needed to have cut that lower branch, but let's take a look at what the expert said. Okay, so now this is what the expert said. So it says, so I sent him a nice picture of the tree. It showed, the top and bottom, showed him the whole thing, so he had a good idea of what was happening. And this is what he says. It says, at this point, the tree requires minimal pruning. You can remove the second largest limb that branches off of the main trunk at what appears to be about 1 foot off the ground. After that, I would loosely affix the main trunk to the metal post at a higher position to keep the trunk relatively straight and perpendicular to the ground. At this point, you do not need to remove any of the branches on top. As the lateral branches get larger, they will become lateral limbs of the tree. I would recommend reading more about young tree pruning and training in the following resources. They didn't give you a resource to look at. And so the first time I did this, and I feel like ChatGPT did a really good job. It was, it mentioned anything that's kind of growing inward, to remove that. It was maybe not 100% right about, those 4 main branches that are coming out at one point, removing the third one it talked about. But I think the reason it mentioned that, I should remove the third one, from its position, from seeing through the camera, it thought that third branch was growing into the middle and would eventually kind of cross over to some other branches. But I think overall it did really good. It was concerned about making sure you want the main branch, growing up straight. It did talk about removing that lower branch, just like he mentions here. And so I feel like this first one did a really good job. So now I just kind of want to show this second one. After I read this, knew this information, I went back out and tested it one more time just to see if it could do it again. Now that I had more knowledge, now I had a better idea of what this tree needed to be pruned. I kind of just wanted to test it one more time to see how it did. So let's take a watch.
So today I need some help trying to figure out how best to prune my Norway maple. So let me go ahead and show that to you now.
Sure, go ahead and show me the maple. I'd be happy to help with pruning tips.
So this is my Norway maple. And so you can see here you have this kind of biggest, but not main branch, but coming off here at the bottom. Oh, probably about a foot from the ground. And the whole thing is about, I don't know, 3 feet tallish. And so then you have the main branch going up to a whole bunch of other little branches here. So let me show you from another angle. Of course, once again, we have the other, small but main branch, and then we have the main branch there. So I'm just trying to figure out how best to go about pruning it. So what do you think?
So you can see in this one, I already, I did a much better job at showing the whole tree from the beginning. And that's something I learned from the previous test and from what the expert said. I showed the whole tree. I wanted to make sure it fully understood everything. I explained things better. And obviously, knowing what I know now, I was able to kind of, I probably directed the AI a little bit better than I did the first time. And so having a little bit of understanding of how you should prune is kind of helpful. I feel like this is a good tool to kind of get a second opinion on how best to, do things. Like the next example, pruning a young tree.
It's good that there's a main branch structure forming. For pruning, consider removing any branches that are crossing or growing inward. The lower branch about a foot from the ground might be best removed to encourage upward growth. Also, trim any dead or weak branches. This will help the tree focus its energy on the main structure.
So, as you can see, I feel like the first video did a much better job at, showing and someone who didn't know what to do, using AI to figure out what to do, and actually getting some good help. This one, I feel like I guided the ChatGPT a little bit more because I had more information, so I was trying to actually, I would say I was trying to get it to do as good as the expert, do exactly what the expert said. So I feel like that video was a little bit biased, but it did give, good information, and I think it was very helpful. Sorry for that video was a little, my internet wasn't working as good then, so the kind of, the AI kept cutting in and out, but I think these showcased two really, really good examples of how AI can help us in the garden. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something new, and I hope you're able to look at AI as a tool to help you in your mission to grow good and healthy plants in your garden. And so I think this advanced voice AI video, whatever full name is, long name, is called, I think it is very, very helpful to you, and can be, as we can see here, as I demonstrated, it can be helpful to figure out, problems that you are having, and potentially get an opinion of what to do. And I will be releasing another video soon that kind of shows something similar, where I have a potential problem or something I've seen and I'm like, why is it this way? Why is this plant behaving this way? Even though the one that was planted at the exact same time and is acting different. And so I have another video on using the same advanced voice with video, testing out again in another garden scenario to see if it truly can be helpful. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. I hope you like and subscribe down below. And if you want to see the full unedited videos of me testing the ChatGPT Advanced Voice, go to my new channel, which is Tomorrow's Tech Today. That's Tomorrow's Tech Today, so look it up on YouTube. I'll be releasing the full unedited videos there if you want to look at it. And yeah, hope you have a good day. Take care.